how you guys work together?
Well, I mean, I'm used to it. I mean, it's all about being a professional, and me having an opportunity to play at the highest level. I went through different coaches, had different, running back coaches, different head coaches over my career that I had. So I was able to adapt, and that's what you have to do as a professional. You have to adapt and be able to adjust to new things. So to me, that part to me is pretty fairly easy for me to do because I'd have been in that situation before. Yeah, I mean it's been great. It's new form, and I mean I'm more excited about him finishing and getting his degree than anything else. Just like I was saying earlier, out of the four guys when we was here, it was me, him, Andre Ellington, and Jamie Harper, and all three of us have our degree. So he was the last man, and so I've been on him for the last several years about, hey man, you need to come back and finish. I don't care if you do it at Clemson, I don't care if you do it online, but you're the last one out of our little nucleus group that hadn't finished yet. So I'm excited about him coming back and finishing, and he's just gonna be another great set of eyes. I mean, this is a guy that's a top 3 rusher all time here at Clemson. So this is not just anybody that when he says something that is just coming from old Uncle Larry over there or something. This guy, he got some weight when he says something. So, he's been following. He knows some of the guys in our room. So he's still trying to figure this building out. He's trying to figure out what door to walk through and stuff. So he's a newbie too as well. So I'm excited about having him though. It's great having been around him for an extended period of time since 2008, our last year together as players. So it's going to be a great addition to our room, and like I said, another guy that's going to be able to deliver a message probably differently than how I deliver a message, but we'll be on the same accord with the message. Yeah, I would assume that he'll be with the running backs. I mean, I don't see James going and being with the tight ends, but he's excited though. He's excited about being back. I'm pretty sure the fans are fired up about him being back in the building. So we just grateful to have him back in here to be able to finish what he started.
You mentioned about he's having to learn the building, and I was wondering, can you take us back to maybe your visit to Clemson as a recruit as compared to the big summer blowout official visit weekend y'all had?
Yeah.
Summer just in terms of facility upgrade, everything to where Clemson was and where it is today.
Oh well, I guess some of the older people that have been around Clemson a long time can tell you that this was the soccer fields that we sitting on. I guess as of today. But I mean, to me, when it comes to recruiting, every guy's different. Me personally, I didn't care about buildings, honestly. I mean, everybody got buildings, right? And everybody's trying to have, and it's great to have those things, and those things are nice, and don't get me wrong. But me personally, that wasn't my primary focus. My primary focus on the people, and not just here in the building, but the people in the community. I grew up in a small town in Lake Butler, so that's what I was looking for in a college decision, and Clemson fitted that mold. Had Clemson been a big city, who knows? I probably don't come to Clemson because I didn't grow up in a big city. So each guy's different. And then I took my visit on Martin Luther King weekend where it wasn't no school. Wasn't nobody on campus besides James Davis and Jacoby Ford and a couple more players. That's it. And so college football just changed since 2006 when I made my decision to come here. Campus has changed a ton over the years, but it's great. You need change, and you have to evolve as time evolves. So it's been awesome, and our program is totally different than what it was in 2006, how it is today. So but at the same time, the message is saying you go and you recruit great people. Obviously, you want to be great football players, but obviously you want to have great people as well, great young men that you can help develop and go off and have a successful life, not just in football, but just in life in general. So to me, that stuff doesn't change. All the other stuff, that stuff changed. But like I say, to me, have this building been great? Yeah, it would have been awesome to being able to be in it, and part of it as a player. But to me, when I came and went to McFadden, I thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. It was great. And to work out at Derby, I thought that was great. Walking down to the practice fields from the locker room, that was great because you got a chance to really talk to your teammates for a little extended period of time on that walk back up. So, I mean, you just cherish those memories and you latch onto it, but at the same time, you be grateful for the opportunity that these guys have to have a facility like we have here at Clemson. But to me, you really don't have to go anywhere. You know, you have everything here at your disposal. And, you know, these guys try to do a great job of taking advantage of that. And everything starts with Coach Sweeney trying to make sure that everything that he does is for the players to make sure that they feel as comfortable as possible. Excuse me, so that they can have a great college experience. So, to me, I love that. I love that. James, he was a year ahead of me. Yes. Yeah, he hosted me. James was my host. Yeah, him and Jacoby Ford were my hosts. We actually, you know, once I left here, we stayed in contact throughout that, all the way up until signing day. You know, and you can tell that, you know, we was two totally different, kind of how Will and Mafia, two totally different, you know, personalities. You know, he grew up in a big city in Atlanta. I come from a country town, Lake Butler. You know, he's more boisterous. I'm more reserved, laid back. You know, so, but we kind of meshed on that first day of my visit, and we kind of just established our relationship over that time during that recruiting period, and it kind of just went from there. Been in contact ever since, you know. And I think that's the great thing about college is that you're able to develop friendships that's going to last a lifetime. You know, so I mean that's something that started back in 2006 when I came on my visit, and it still is lovely today that it was when it was back then. So, but that's the beauty of college, and that's what I try to tell my guys in my room is that, hey man, you want to have a friendship that's going to last a lifetime. Some of these guys going to be in your wedding. You know, some of these guys gonna be there when you have your first child. You know, these guys gonna be there when you're going through some adversity. You know, that's the brotherhood. You know, that's the brotherhood that we try to create in our room.
With that said, what was it like when you heard the news and the guys like involved with Coach Streeter? He wasn't going to be here. He's one of you.
Yeah.
He's a Clemson guy.
Yeah.
He's a friend of yours.
Yes.
And at the same time, this is a business. Sometimes.
Yeah.
What was it like for you when you heard that news for the first time?
Well, your heart goes out to his family. I mean, because like you said, I mean, we had to bend in that. I don't want to use military terms. We had to bend together a season, you know, and you've seen the grind and the hard work that he puts in that the outside world didn't see. They only seen just what happened on Saturday. But, you know, I was riding, you know, 24/7 just about, you know, and I seen the hard work that he puts in and how much pride that he took in just because he was a former player, how much pride that he had into this program. And when you hear that news that, you know, that he'll no longer be leading the offense, yeah, your heart breaks. I mean, you're human. You know, you have emotions, and you know, so that was kind of one of the first reactions. And then, you know, Coach when he comes in and explains, then you have to trust his leadership. You have to trust his vision, and you just go from there. But you know, your heart just goes out to Coach Street and his family, and hopefully he lands back on the feet, which I know he will. But he's a great person. You know, outside of all the stuff that you read, man, he's probably one of the best persons I've been around. Just down to earth. You know, he was always asking about Cade, which is, you know, my little son. You know, he's always asking how he was doing. You know, is he walking yet? You know, so him and his wife Ashley was great to me and my family, and you know, I wish him nothing but the best.
It's kind of a random question, but I saw Dominic Thomas doing squat, and Shipley was right next to him, just like going really, very intense. Somebody messaged and said like, "You can have an aneurysm or something." Right? Shipley, in terms of that intensity, like what's the most intense you've seen in what moments, and what is it like when he's really ripped?
I mean, what you seen in that clip when Dominique was doing the deadlift for the 700 pounds, that's what I see during game days with Shipley. I mean, he's a very intense player, and you got to have some intensity when you play in this game, and, you know, and he understands that, you know, and so my job is to make sure he understands how to channel that intensity in a good way, you know, because as a player sometimes it can kind of linger on to another play, right? You get done with a series, it didn't go as well as you wanted it to go, it can kind of carry over. So my job is try to teach those guys how to move on. But I love his intent. So what you've seen in that clip is, you know, what I see on game day or what I see in practice when we're doing a competition against the defense. That's who he is, you know. And so you love that, and the guys, they gravitate towards that, and they know that it comes out of love when he gets onto him. But they know that he'll be the first one to pick up the call if you need something. He'll be the first one to be there if you need to go get a shirt. You know, he'll find a way to try to help you do that. And to me, that's that's Will Shipley. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised by the intensity and the encouragement when I seen the clip from Shipley. But, I mean, it was you'd seen all the rest of the running backs that was around Dominique. But that's the type of room that we try to develop in there. And that brotherhood of cheering on each other to go out and be great.
Have you ever been around another player, whether when you were a player, a teammate, or maybe a coach has that level of intensity, or he's the top guy?
I mean, he'll definitely be up there. One of the top guys, I would say, with that type of intensity. I would say Fred Jackson, that I played with in Buffalo, was a very intense player. Drew Brees, that I played with in New Orleans, he was kind of that way. When it came to workouts and stuff like that, he was a very intense player. So I'd have been around some guys. But Shipley would definitely be up there, one of the top guys that from an intensity standpoint, that I'd have been around. How I get him to channel it down? Well, I can't give him a secret out there because I'm pretty sure he's going to probably listen to my interview. Then he's going to be like, all right, coach going to tell me this to try to calm me down. Then he's going to try to counter me. But now I have my little ways, really, man, to really try to calm him down, to really keep him calm, I guess you would say. Sometimes I just, put my arm around him and tell him I love him. Everything going to be all right, because sometimes that stuff can get, I ain't going to want to use the word overboard, but it can kind of linger into affecting us in a different, and not a great space from going on to the next place. So I just put my arm around him, tell him I love him, tell him it's going to be okay, and that, we'll move on and we'll go out there and make the next play. So that's kind of one of the ways that I kind of try to keep him calm.
Did you see him advance in that way a lot last year? Because I know, like, the Pittsburgh drop.
Yeah, it did. I think he'd have grown from that because, just because he knows how much that we practice on that play, and when we called it, everybody knew we got the perfect coverage. We knew exactly what they was going to do, and he just didn't deliver. But, I mean, that happens to a lot of great players, and so that was a great teachable moment. Like, hey, man, I reminded him of 2009 when we played Maryland. We had a screen going in it. We literally finna score, and I slipped. And I remember Coach Sweeney, he got on to me like, hey, man, you can't slip. You're a great player. Great players can't do that. But then he came over like, hey, it's okay. I need you to move on to the next play. So I try to remind him, like, man, all the great stuff had plays where it didn't go their way. It's all about how do you respond after that play. And so I think, to me, that's kind of way he'd have grown up, knowing how to respond if a play doesn't go his way. Because he's such a perfectionist that he want to be great on each and every play, which you love. But when it don't go your way, you got to know how to respond and know how to react when it don't go your way. So he done grown a lot from that, and and I tell him, I mean, we still have all the tremendous trust in him to go out and catch any pass that we throw to him. To me, my trust in him catching the football doesn't go down just because of one drop. I mean, this guy done made tremendous plays. I mean, I tell him all the time that play against Louisville that we just seen the highlight, him jumping over somebody, that's going to be an iconic play in Clemson football history. Like, nobody probably never do that again in Clemson football history. But he's the one that done it. So it's just little ways like that just to try to just keep him focused and let him know that it's going to be okay.
Last one for CJ, if anybody has one.
Nobody ain't got one. Last one?
I'll get you one.
You'll give me one?
Talking about quarterbacks, we're talking about running backs coming pros to college. What are the differences
From college to pros? Well, I mean, the biggest difference is that these guys, I mean, the guys in pros, I mean, they don't have study hall and tutors and all that compared to a college guy. So they have more time on their hand compared to a college quarterback. And up there, everything is about, the mental game. I mean, so watching film is all those quarterbacks do. I remember being in Buffalo and watching film with Ryan Fitzpatrick on a Tuesday. We getting up there at 10 o'clock, and then, I'm standing there for a couple hours, then he's still there till 7, 8 o'clock at night just watching film, because as a quarterback, you got to know what everybody's doing, right? That just comes with the job. And so I think that's where the difference comes between a college quarterback and an NFL quarterback. Those guys up there, they don't have to worry about going to class and, no NCAA rules from how much time you can be on the practice field. NFL, you can practice as much as you want to practice. You can watch film as much as you want to watch film. So I think that's kind of the separator. And then the game's just a whole lot faster up there in that arena, right? So those guys have to process information very quickly. And to me, if you can learn that early on as a player, it'll help you once you get up there. And that's kind of some of my message that I tell not our quarterbacks, but some of my running backs is, hey, if you can learn this stuff now, when you get that, if you have the opportunity to go up there to the NFL, it just become like clockwork for you, because you can't wait till you get there and say, oh, I'm gonna start doing this now, because now you kind of put yourself kind of behind the 8 ball. But eventually you'll catch up. But if you can get a jump start on it, it'll help you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.